and welcome back to our channel. This is actually the first episode of my pregnancy postpartum series, even though I have a baby that's 2 months old. Yeah, I know. I mean, most women, when they're pregnant, they get into that like nesting vibe and they're putting their nursery together. I was living in a van at 34 weeks pregnant in a little tiny Ford Transit van with 2 dogs, my 6-foot-odd fiance and me with my big expanding belly. We would thought that we had a little bit longer when we got to Barcelona to make everything baby friendly, I guess, but story came totally unexpected. My waters broke as I was walking down the stairs. So anyway, I digress. This video is actually just a little bit of a life update. I think last time I spoke to you guys about the pregnancy, I think I was actually announcing the pregnancy. I'm really sorry. But if you follow us on Instagram, you'll have had so many updates. So yeah, I post on Instagram every single day. I am on my stories every single day. So if you don't follow us on Instagram, I'll put the link up here. So yeah, as I was saying, we thought that we had at least 2.5 weeks. Story came 2.5 weeks early. Everybody kept telling me, like, you'll be late, it's your first child. Yeah, don't listen. Don't listen to anybody. 2.5 weeks early, he was coming, 7 hours. He was here, he was ready. So I didn't have any of that. Well, I didn't really get that nesting thing that everybody was like, oh, just you wait, you won't be a minimalist, you will not live in a van, you will want to be in a house, you want to be painting walls, you want to be building cots. Like, story doesn't have a cot. Yeah, there was no paint, no cots. I hadn't even washed his clothes. Adam actually went out in the day that I went into labor, bought washing powder to wash Story's clothes. So back on track. I'm now 3 months postpartum. I would say that I really looked after myself during my pregnancy. Even if it was just walking, I would say I moved my body every single day. I really looked after my nutrition from the moment I found out I was pregnant. I always worried about postpartum, not because of my weight, just everything else that goes with having a baby, your body changing so much. I was almost terrified that I would never feel like myself again. So right now, my postpartum journey, so I've been documenting my progress about, I think I did it 24 hours after birth, 1 week, and then monthly. And as you can see, I have really lost most of my weight now. I did my measurements the other day and I am at the heaviest normal size that I was previously. So if I'd had too many donuts, which, yeah, sometimes happened, this would have been how I looked. Obviously, I would have been much more toned. I have lost a lot of definition. Since having Story, I haven't really worked out at all. I have a slight tightness in my back in my right hand side, so I'm taking it super easy. All I'm doing is stretching and just working on really engaging my core muscles. I'm taking it easy, I'm listening to my body, and I think that's the only thing you can do. So don't beat yourself up. So let's talk about my favorite topic. Besides the birth, my favorite topic to talk about is Story. He is a little angel baby. I'm not gonna lie, he sleeps really well, he eats really well, but the poor mite at 2.5 months started teething. So we got this little gummy mitt, it's working a treat, and he's really it's really helping with his dexterity. Dexterity. I can't say that. It's really helping with his fine motor skills. Although somebody did message me on Instagram and asked me if he had a birth defect, because he always had this gummy glove on his hand. Quite forward question to ask somebody you don't know, but thankfully no, he doesn't. It just has sore gums. Then my little overachiever also, he's now 3 months old and he's like standing up in your arms. Like, I keep Googling, like, is this normal? And they're like, no. But he's like, his legs are just like, boom. He's like, I'm not moving, mum. You better believe it. He is crazy. He is so strong. He had 6-pack. I mean, what the hell? I don't even have a 6-pack. I have to say, newborn life to me has been absolutely incredible. I was so scared because everybody else was telling me all these horror stories, like even my mom. My brother didn't sleep through the night until he was 5 years old. I was like, what if Story doesn't sleep through the night until he's 5 years old? Like, how am I gonna cope? But thankfully, he slept through the night from about 1 week old. So Oh, also, any new mums, there's this technique called dream feeding. I try to let him go to sleep about 7 or 8. That's when he normally like gets a bit grumpy. If we go downstairs at 1, so I then take him out of his basket or his sleepy head, whatever he's in, and I'll feed him whilst he's still asleep, and then give him a little bit of bub, and normally he doesn't really need much, and then put him back down, all whilst he's asleep. Like, I heard about this on Instagram. As soon as I heard about it, I was like Googling like, what is this, what is this? It works a treat. He'll go the whole night then. He won't wake up again. If you don't know about dream feeding, just hit me up on Instagram and I'll point you in the right direction. It was such a game changer for us. Okay, I'm gonna share with you my 5 top tips that I wish somebody had shared with me before I had Story. So my number 1 is, once you've had your baby, stay in bed. Like, my midwives, I'm going back again to my birth story, I'm really sorry. But I had Story in the cave in the basement of our house. Now, our house is 7 stories and our lounge is on the 7th floor. So I had him in the cave. Then the next morning, Adam was like, where do you want to be? Like, where do you want to chill? I was like, let's go to the lounge because it's the brightest room. The whole front of the house is glass, so it's beautiful. And I was like, yeah. And then the midwives came that morning just to check everything over, and they were like, you walked up those stairs? No, you need to be in bed. I was like, what? And they were like, no, your pelvis needs to close, you need to be in a flat position. Anyway, long story cut short, it was the right decision. I have had no issues. Closing ceremony, which was more of a spiritual than a physical thing, but oh my goodness, I'm gonna do a whole video on that. If you are the slightest bit spiritually inclined, you have to have a closing bone ceremony. Oh, I felt like a new woman, literally. It was incredible. It was gifted by my doula and I will forever be grateful for her. Yeah, she's just a gift that keeps giving, I tell you. So anyway, yes, stay in bed. Stay in bed, tip number 1. Tip number 2 is, once you're allowed to move, get out. Get out of the house. I hear so many people like say to me, oh, you were out with your child after day 3. Like, oh, it's a scary world. Like, what if something happened? What if the baby cried? What if the baby cried? Of course the baby cries, it's a baby. Maybe he needs feeding, I'll feed him. I have boobs. Believe it or not, that's all he needs right now, boobs love. So yeah, get out. Just even if it's for a 10-minute walk, just get out, enjoy the outside, enjoy people cooing over your baby. That is the best thing in the world, when everyone's like, oh my goodness, how small, how old? I mean, Story was tiny, so everybody was just enamored by him, which is the best feeling in the world, because you just want to shout it on the rooftops when you've just had a baby. You're like, I made this. Tip number 3 is keep a diary. If you're not a journaler, that's not even a word, is it? If you don't like journaling, then I'd recommend this bad boy. Now, I had this before I had Story, but it's a 5-year little like 1 line a day. It gives you like 5 lines, so don't panic. But it's just a little summary, like memory book of your day. And it's perfect when you've not really got the energy or the time, or you don't feel like it. But you can just write a little snippet. If any like milestone happened that day, you can just write it down. I'll pop a link to that one in the description bar below. I think it was just off Amazon or something, super cheap. I love stationery, but that to me is just priceless. Tip number 4 is make sure you have a carrier. Now, our favorite carriers were the Baby Bjorn newborn and the Free Rider. So the Free Rider is the one that wraps. You can wrap it around you. Yeah, that is perfect for bonding, and that was the first carrier he could use, because we found that when he was so small that he didn't want to open his legs, so he didn't want to be in a carrier, so we had to carry him all the time, and we actually used the stroller quite a lot in his first couple of days, well, couple of weeks really, but he was abnormally small, so don't go off that. And then the Baby Bjorn is amazing for transitioning them if they've fallen asleep in the carrier, because it just clips out at the front and you can just literally lie them down in that. So many health benefits for the skin to skin. Story absolutely loves it. And then tip number 5, my final tip, is don't be afraid to ask for help. It might sound really cliche and boring and blah blah blah. I was so lucky. We had Nanny Sue come over the day after he was born. Adam did absolutely anything and everything I could ever possibly want from him. So I was really grateful. But if you are a single mum, or if your partner has to go back to work, don't be afraid to call your friends. Don't be afraid to call your family. You are a superwoman. You are a mum. You just gave birth. It's hard, it's tiring, it's emotional, but it's incredible. Don't fret it. Just ask for help. Everybody loves newborns, no matter what. Even if your baby's a screamer, people will flock to come for newborn cuddles, so don't stress. So they're my 5 top tips. Might seem really simple, but those were the things that really helped me. Now I'm reminiscing about him being so small. Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna divert slightly. I mean, I'm filling you in. This is like a life update, so it's okay. So we had a team of midwives and a doula, and we had a home birth. That's all I'm gonna tell you about the birth story now. But once he was here, he had loads of like little, like unusual gifts from the midwives. And one of them, he had a cranium sacral massage, and I actually have loads of the footage, so I'm going to take you back with me now and show you a tiny story and him having his cranium sacral massage. So today we are in Manresa, which is like near Montserrat, and we're going to take Story for a massage. I think it's called a cranial massage, but don't quote me on that. We thought we'd take you with us because birthing center is epic.
I'm gonna push for one too, but I'm not so sure.
I'm not sure.
Where's the shot?
I get one, but he doesn't. So we just left and waiting for the train, but that was not what I had expected. I thought they were going to like, I don't know, like manipulate him or like check something. Actually what it was like an energy massage. When Story was born, he actually had one of his eyes closed, his left eye, and for I'd say probably about 10-15 minutes he didn't open his left eye. Everything's fine now. But yeah, she was laying her hands on him, and then when she got to his head, she straight away recognized that he had some tension in his left eye and in the front center above his third eye. So yeah, now he wants to feed, so I guess I better go. But yeah, it was amazing. He's napping right now with Adam, and I just so want to go and squeeze him after that. Yeah, but mum life is amazing. I absolutely love it. It's just as magical as I always dreamt it would be. It truly is the most incredible thing I have ever done, and the one thing that I am most proud of. So like I said, I'm gonna leave it here, and I hope that you loved this like first pregnancy postpartum video life update, whatever this was. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Love you. Bye.